Good morning. My name is Vic Donahoe, and I'm the director of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. We're here today to launch Hands Across the Border, a national initiative that occurs in states all across the country. At this time, give me just a few seconds to recognize the many partners that are here today. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, Alabama Law Enforcement Traffic Safety Division, the Alabama Highway Patrol, Lincoln County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Murray Blackwelder, and the many other law enforcement departments that are represented here today, and especially to the media that are here. Without the messaging of the media, it would be very difficult for us to connect with the many citizens in Alabama and Tennessee and all across the country. As we all know, crashes don't stop at city lines, county lines, or even state lines, and that's why we're here today. I'd like to thank the Genesis United Methodist Church for hosting this event, and advise everyone that the purpose of this campaign is a collaborative effort with our partners down south in Alabama. And it's an enforcement effort to try to make our roadways safer in Alabama and Tennessee. One life lost is too many lost. Partnering together with state, local, federal officials is the only way that we're going to make a difference on our roadways, serious injury crashes and fatalities, and also voluntary compliance. We ask all the motoring public in Alabama and Tennessee to voluntarily comply with the laws of the state, laws of the land. As I start to introduce our speakers, I'll start by introducing our first speaker, Commissioner Jeff Long. He's the Commissioner of Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. He's a 46-year veteran in the public safety arena, serving as a Tennessee Bureau of Investigation Special Agent, also serving as an Assistant District Attorney, and his previous few years as the Sheriff of one of the largest counties in Tennessee, Williamson County. We're very happy to have him as our Commissioner. His vision and direction, leadership is among the best in the country, and we're very fortunate. So at this time, I ask Commissioner Jeff Long to say a few words.
Thank you, Vic. Good morning, everyone. And on behalf of Governor Bill Lee, let me tell you that Tennessee's proud to join our Alabama partners and our local partners for Hands Across the Border. You know, our partnership is essential to saving lives across our roadways. Together, we can make a significant impact to reduce serious injury, crashes, and fatalities. No one agency can accomplish this by themselves. Furthermore, we want to ask the public for voluntary compliance to obey the traffic laws across Alabama and across Tennessee. Never drink and drive, stay focused on the road, never text while driving, and finally, remember to buckle up every time, every trip. Thank you for coming this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. At this time, it's my honor to introduce my counterpart in Alabama, from Alabama and in Alabama. Bill Watley joined the Law Enforcement and Traffic Safety Division of the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs in 2007. He began as a monitor covering every program in the division. He then moved into the program management with the Highway Traffic Safety Program. He was promoted to the Public Safety Unit Chief in 2012, where he manages the Highway Traffic Safety and Law Enforcement programs. Here in Tennessee and Alabama, we're part of the Georgia region, NHTSA Georgia region. We have Hands Across the Border to the north of us with Kentucky, but here we don't share the same region. So I've been able to spend some time with Bill and his employees, Sam and many others, and knowing someone on a personal level definitely makes it more special to introduce them and also share a podium with them. And so please welcome Bill Watley.
On behalf of Governor Kay Ivey and the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, it's an honor to be here today with our friends from Tennessee as we kick off this Hands Across the Border event. Specifically, we're really going into the season of our Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. We're here to combat and raise awareness for impaired driving. Most folks think of impaired driving as people that are drinking. That is one part of it. And you have people that are taking illegal drugs or abusing prescription drugs or possibly even using prescription drugs properly, but that renders them impaired. A lot of folks also think, well, if I'm not drinking, I won't be caught. Several of these officers up here are specially trained in just that area, so they can help catch people that are on amphetamines, barbiturates, hallucinogens, anything that may cause impairment. They can detect it, and it is admissible in court. Something about this particular part of our state in North Alabama, which bleeds over into South Tennessee, is there's a lot of impaired driving going on in our area, more so than the rest of the state. I'm going to share a few quick statistics. DUI fatal crashes are down 10.9% overall for the state of Alabama, but DUI fatal crashes are up 6.1% in the north area. Severe injury crashes are down 12.7% overall in Alabama, but they're up 8.2% since 2014 in the northern counties. DUI crashes are down 4.3% overall for the state of Alabama. Now, we're proud of that. But in this part of our state, they're only down 2.3%, so they're actually not making the progress. Now, this is the northern counties of Alabama, but it didn't stop at this state line. This affects the safety of the people that are driving on our roads in both states in this area. Also, we've noticed our seatbelt usage is about over 90%, but in these impaired driving crashes, it's around 50%. Something else for the public to think about. These officers aren't here to write tickets. They're out here to save lives. That's what we're here for. These serious injury and fatal crashes affect people's lives. Death notifications have to be sent out. Somebody's parent has to be called when their child is on the side of the road. This is serious business, and it's very preventable. This is a behavior. People are choosing this behavior. They choose to drink. They choose to take these drugs. So we're here today to say, just make the choice to not drink and drive. Don't drive impaired. And that way we can all get home safely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. Now it's my honor to introduce the Colonel of the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Colonel Stewart joined the Highway Patrol in 1987. And during his tenure, he's held various areas of responsibility, increasing responsibility, rising through the ranks, serving as the director of our training academy, the director of internal affairs, and the director of our research planning and development, three of the most important administrative areas in the Highway Patrol. So it's my honor to introduce Colonel Stewart. He's been colonel since October of 2018, leading a force of around 950 troopers, and my honor to introduce Colonel Derek Stewart to say a few.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for being here. I certainly want to thank all the men and women of both agencies, well, all agencies that are represented up here in both states, Tennessee and Alabama. We're here to talk about Hands Across the Border. It's not just another overall sobriety checkpoint. This is much more than that. It's through events like this that it helps us to really develop new relationships and to build upon the relationships that we currently have. One key attribute that has proven most valuable is that our field supervisors in these local areas have sought out and established great working relationships and partnerships with our allied agencies, those agencies who share a common goal of making our roadways safe and saving lives. I hope that when you look at this show of solidarity up here, that you see a message that is so significant that it transcends the borders, the counties, and the city limits and the state lines that we all are really accustomed to. You know, there have been so many tragedies in the world lately. You know, 22 innocent people were gunned down in Walmart in Texas recently. 9 people lost their lives in Dayton, Ohio. Dozens of others were injured, and in both of these cases we're deeply saddened about these deadly events. And we seem to think as though that these events are out of our control. And in many instances, they are out of our control. But today, I challenge you to take ownership of the things that you can control. Law enforcement and all of his officers are really committed to doing everything that is within our power to keep the roadways safe. But we need you to do your part. You hold the key to make the roadways safer. Literally, you do. You hold the keys to your car, and that safety begins and ends with you. You must make a choice to wear your safety belt. You have to choose not to be distracted, and if you choose to have something to drink, to hand your keys over to a sober driver. I hope that you accept the challenge today and take the responsibility for your part in traffic safety. My promise to you is that we're going to do our part. All the law enforcement partners that are up here, we're going to be out and we're going to do our part. If you violate the law or if you place an innocent individual in harm's way, we will take enforcement action. You can guarantee that. So please make the right choice and partner with us to make the roadway safer. I thank all of you for being here today. Thank you.
Now to conclude our press conference, before any question that you may have, is Trooper Curtis Somerville from the Alabama Highway Patrol. He's been in the Highway Patrol 31 years and currently conducts presentations to the public regarding traffic safety, alcohol, drugs, and other law enforcement related topics. It's my honor to introduce Trooper Curtis Somerville from the Alabama Highway Patrol.
Good morning. As stated earlier, on behalf of Governor Kay Ivey and our Secretary Hal Taylor, we again thank you for having us to this event in terms of having Alabama and the folks from Tennessee. We're glad to join you again as always. You know, one of the things I was thinking about as I drove up here today, you know, this is always, we focus on driving under the influence. The average habitual offender that does this, guys, he does it about 80 times a year without being detected. Now, you can conclude two things from that. Either he's awfully lucky or he's an awfully good driver. And I think the latter would not be the case. He's not a good driver, certainly. There are things we can do in law enforcement to get out and try to prevent people from doing this. We make efforts every year. And, you know, as I drive, I'm always reminded, we're driving, we're talking to people, we're telling people, we're giving them good advice, but we're still seeing people die along our highways. And a great reminder that I always see of that, I shouldn't say a great reminder, but a reminder of that is every time I drive down the highway, there's always, it appears every 20 miles, there's a cross that indicated that someone died here. And I don't know how other people are, but I'm the kind of person, I kind of get it deep in thought when I see stuff like that. My opinion is I think about, you know, those people. Had they still been alive, what would they be doing today? What kind of contribution could they have made to society? I even go as far as to think about their offspring, their children. What would their children have been doing by now? And we see those crosses, guys. Those crosses represent a lot. I often think about some crashes that I have personally investigated. One of the most difficult things that a law enforcement officer does is they have to go and make a death notification. I was recently passing by an area and I saw a cross of a crash that I investigated some years ago, and I thought about that young man. I believe he was somewhere around 22 years old. I thought about having to talk to his mother. I thought about some years ago, because some of these crosses are very frail, they're old, some of them are fairly new. This one was a fairly old one, and I thought about that gentleman. He'd probably be somewhere close to 45, 50 years old if he was still alive now. And I thought about what he would be doing. I thought about his mother, his parents, what they were going through at the time of that crash. And one thing I also concluded from that is, guys, we can get out here and enforce this law all day long, but we as law enforcement officers, we cannot do it by ourselves. We can go into the schools, which is part of my job, is getting into the schools and trying to educate children, but we need some help. We certainly can't be everywhere at all times. We're going to use social media. I encourage everybody this summer, get on social media. I always hear people bragging about how many friends they have on Facebook or how many friends they have on Twitter and Snapchat. Use those avenues to talk to your friend and warn them about the dangers of actually drinking and driving without wearing your seatbelts. As we know, the vast majority of our crashes occur from various activities, traffic violations, I should say, but the vast majority of these folks that are killed are not wearing seatbelts. Just this past holiday in Alabama, we had 10 people killed in car crashes, and not a single person was wearing a seatbelt. 7 of them were drivers, 3 of them was passengers, to include a 6-year-old child, and nobody was wearing a seatbelt. I can only imagine that at least half of those folks probably would have walked away had they hit a seatbelt on. So I'm definitely going to encourage you to get out, talk to your families, talk to your children, get on social media, encourage people to put their seatbelts on, encourage people not to drink and drive. Have a plan in place. That plan in place is to get a designated driver. Remember, if you've been drinking, you're not the designated driver. So get someone that's not drinking. Use social media to come up with your friends. We're going to go out tonight. We encourage you to have a good time. We want you to have a good time. We are there to do a job, but we do want you to have a good time. But again, we want you to have a plan in place and assist us in doing our job. And we're along with Alabama and Tennessee. We're going to do as much as we can to keep you safe. But again, we solicit your help. I solicit your help. The rest of us solicit your help. Help us. Call if you see someone drinking. Use social media to report someone that's been drinking and driving. You can use Twitter, your Twitter account, whatever you want to do. Put it out there and tell somebody so we can hopefully get this person off the road before they do harm to somebody. And again, on behalf of our governor and our secretary, thank Tennessee for having us here again. And again, folks, we're going to do the best I can to save your life. And we're going to do the best I can to change your behavior, because that's what it's all about. But we need your help to do that. Thank you.
This concludes the formal portion of the event. We'll be available for any questions if you have any questions, or if you want to conduct any interviews with any of the speakers or other attendees. Let me say again thank you to the many men and women standing here today in uniform and out of uniform for their commitment to traffic safety and trying to change behaviors and save lives all across Tennessee and Alabama.